Hi, welcome to the Pursuit of Truth. So I want to talk about a few things connected to the last Pursuit of Truth that's rendering at the moment. And first, I'm going to talk about something I always talk about, something in my poems I talk about as well, which is the fragility of life, the mortality of life. Yeah, because recently I had this episode again. I don't really like talking about it because it triggers me, but where I woke up in the middle of the night. It seems stupid telling you this, but I don't know, these days I feel like I want to just be honest and open, and why hide these things? This is just, I'm not a perfect human being. And I don't know whether this links to my idea that I may be autistic or have Asperger's. But I have been suffering with anxiety all my life, on and off. It's not all the time, it's just certain things that trigger it. So I don't really know what triggered this, because I woke up at 2:00 in the morning. And I have this thing with my nose. I don't know, it's the way it's made or whatever, where one side gets blocked, the other's okay. I don't know if they're both open today. I don't know if it's a sinus thing. But one gets blocked. And if I lay one way, it opens, and lay the other way, it's like that. So I had that feeling where it's blocked, and then I started thinking in my mind and getting worried that, can I breathe? And then it spiraled, and then I was like, not hyperventilating, but getting to that stage, and I had to come downstairs, open the door, breathe in air, try to do breathing exercises, in and then holding and then out. And I was just worrying about, like, do I have a medical issue? Do I need to phone the ambulance? I'm downstairs, everyone else is asleep. I didn't want to disturb anyone. And I worry, I'm feeling that now. I'm sort of starting to heat up. I can feel it, that I worry that in a situation where my life is in danger, I wouldn't be able to tell anyone. It seems so stupid, I don't know why, but I'm just scared of that. I guess I'm sort of scared, like, am I, is it a mental health issue, my anxiety, or is it actually something really happening? So I tried to distract myself with TV, and then I tried sort of drinking chamomile tea to sort of make me sleepy. I have this sleepy tea thing. And, I lied down and tried to sleep on the sofa, and then eventually went to the bed. I wonder, does anyone else have this? What is this connected to? I don't know if it was connected to the meal I had before, had a little bit of extra oil than it should have done. But I don't know, maybe, because I felt my stomach felt bloated, but then I don't know if that's to my anxiety, because I'm starting to hyperventilate a little bit, breathe too much, because I did have this thing years back, twice I've had it, where I was breathing for myself for like a week. It was like the most crazy. I hate it because I can't stop myself from doing it, and I'm sort of like, am I breathing? And I'm breathing for myself, and I'm breathing too much, and I can't stop. I try and distract myself, and then it comes back. The same with this thing. Like, I'm thinking about it now, and I can hear my breathing, and I'm doing extra and thinking about it. That's why I try not to talk about it. And I've had it like for a few days on and off. And I get hot, like I'm feeling hot now. And usually my stomach feels like it's bloated. And I'm breathing too much and noticing it. And then I start to sort of get panicky. Is this an issue, or am I just anxious? Let's stop talking about it now. So yeah, does anyone else get that? Is it? I assume it is to do with anxiety. I don't know if it's linked to autism and Asperger's and things like that. Is where my mind thinks. Why is it? Why am I thinking about? Like, why am I controlling my breathing? Why am I getting anxious and hyperventilating? Why am I doing that to myself? But it doesn't seem normal, but anyway, yeah. So I thought I'd just bring that to you in an effort of being honest. And so it made me think about, because when I was downstairs, I was thinking about, like, what if this is the moment? And there will be a time in my life, as everyone's time, where that moment will be that moment. I mean, I often think it's happening, and then I get really worried and thinking, is this it? Obviously, everyone fears of death in some sort of way, because you don't know when that moment's going to be. And it just made me think about that, and it'd be terrible for my wife and my kids to wake up, find me slumped on the floor dead, because I was too scared to ask for anyone's help. I find that really difficult to ask for people's help, even though, you know, I'm the person who always helps people. But I find it really difficult to ask for help. I've always had that problem. And speaking up. I remember in college, there was a Sussex Art and Design placement I could have got. I was like top of the class. And I don't know what happened, how that day I came, it was like, I used to walk there 45 minutes in the rain. I was drenched. My trousers were like completely wet because I couldn't get on a bus because I couldn't do that. And so at that day they were talking about last places. Anybody, you know, and I was thinking like, what happened in my mind? Like, how did I miss? Because I used to go to the classes. I didn't, you know, how did I miss this opportunity to get a placement at Sussex Art and Design, where two of my friends ended up going? It was an access course, and I was like, you know, like the top of it. You know, I was very creative. It's communication, media design, specializing media. It's funny, it's communication. But anyway, so, and they said, like, if anyone, you know, there's still time, this is the last chance, put your hand up. I couldn't do it. Like, why didn't I put my hand up and say, yeah, I want to? But I felt like, I don't know why I didn't feel like I should be able to do it. I think maybe I felt embarrassed that I'd left it. So I think it's sometimes like when I'm late. And it's funny, I heard this on that in an Autistic Minds program with Chris Packham, about when this guy, everything's by time, and when he's late, he doesn't want to go in. I used to be not as bad as that, but if I was like 5 minutes late, I think, no, I'm not going now. I'm too late. I can't turn up late, as if that's rude. I don't have that problem now, but I used to have that a lot. You know, if I was late, I just wouldn't want to go in, because I wouldn't want to be the last one in, as if, like, you know, it draws attention to me. I hate that. Like, whenever I used to do media projects, I'd video things, film things. You know, I used to hide my poems behind John Doyle Poems as a pseudonym, but I couldn't watch myself. I'd have to, like, go out of the room or whatever, because I can't watch myself. Like, if my family were watching, you know, these videos, they probably had never watched any of them. They're going to find these 600 videos. Like, if they start watching it, I have to go out of the room. And I remember before, when people used to come around the house, I would have to go for long walks. Inspired some of the poems that I wrote. Like Anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about now, is it? What am I talking about? These days I seem to forget things. I hope I'm not getting dementia. What was I talking about? I was talking about anxiety, but why was I talking about that? Also, I think it's linked to the last thing, where I've been trying to get organisations to help me with the letter, Lena's help letter, to put a paragraph in or support it. So I can say that's supported by National Autistic Society or MenCap or Chris Packham and adult child awareness, is it? Autism awareness, and there's another one. Most of them just have ignored the email. Well, that seems to be the case with emails. You know, if you don't want to reply to it, you just don't have to. It's not like a letter. I don't know where that came from. You know, if I get an email, I'll reply to it whether I want to or not, because I see that as same as a letter. But a lot of these organisations just ignore me, even though they're putting all this stuff about autism awareness, and, you know, they want you to, you know, like, help me then. You should be doing this. Why am I doing it? Why aren't you doing it? Because I'm putting myself on the line. Put my daughter on the line, you know. I worry about, you know, that's part of why I sort of like, should I do this or not? Will it interfere with Alina now that the HCP has started? I don't want them thinking, you know, because I'm not sort of attacking the school or the teachers. I'm attacking the system, but of course they are part of the system. They may not like that I'm attacking it because I feel it doesn't work. The funding isn't fair. It is involuntary, discriminatory to send children, neurodivergent and disabled children, the way that they're left. And maybe that's why these organisations, because a lot of them, they seem to be funded by the government and private funding by voluntary. Maybe that's why they don't want to get involved. I feel it. I get anxious, like, should I do it or shouldn't I? But I want to stand up. I guess I'm sort of hoping that these people in power and responsibility will read it and think, yeah, you're right, let's change it, let's do the right thing. But I know that with all these things that I go on about the pursuit of truth, all this shit, everything that doesn't seem to be right with the system, when it comes to crime, when it comes to the borders, when it comes to war, when it comes to all these things I talk about, well, if they ain't going to sort those out, why would they sort this out? Thousands of people can go striking for trains, for teachers, for pay, and they can ignore them and not even turn up and even discuss with them. Why would they listen to little old me? That's why I was asking these organisations, because if I said the National Autistic Society, supported it or gave a paragraph, maybe that would give a little bit of extra weight that they couldn't just ignore me. But Chris Packham on his Twitter didn't reply. His agent, he did reply saying that he's too busy, basically, and he doesn't do those things, and there's going to be no more series of the programme. I don't know. I know there must be loads of people that want help. I've also emailed Professor Jason Ardeny, hoping he can help. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to finish now because people are coming. Take care, God bless, and peace.